Hey guys, welcome back to the Good Fight TV. I am Fight for JC. How about that? Nate Diaz submits Conor McGregor in one of the biggest upsets in the history of MMA, and on the same night that Miesha Tate upset Holly Holm, but that wasn't such a big upset in my opinion. Let's talk about McGregor versus Diaz. First off, Nate Diaz, congratulations. You totally deserve this victory. You are an awesome fighter, and you deserve this. I hope you enjoy this victory, and I hope this brings to you bigger and better things in the future. And I hope your rankings go up, and most importantly, your future purses. I hope they go up. They go way up. Congratulations again, McGregor. Is the hype train derailed? Is this the EA curse? What do you guys think? I said in the past in my other video that this was a big gamble by the UFC to allow Conor McGregor, to fight not just Nate Diaz but anybody, because this is MMA. This is not boxing. There's no cherry picking in MMA. Especially in the UFC, if you made it in the UFC, that means you have enough credentials to beat anybody on any given night. There's no one invincible, including Conor McGregor. This isn't like Mayweather handpicking opponents. You can't handpick anyone in the UFC because anybody in the UFC can beat you, regardless of who you are. And Conor McGregor found that out the hard way last night. Now I tip my hat off to Conor McGregor for agreeing to fight Nate Diaz anyway. It was a huge risk. I didn't think that McGregor should have fought anybody. I mean, injuries happen all the time. Take the financial hit. McGregor, he should have done that, and the UFC, by removing McGregor from the card altogether and fight Dos Anjos. Now, because to me, this loss definitely takes away some of the luster from Conor McGregor. I don't know if he's going to schedule a fight with Dos Anjos or if he's going to go back to featherweight. But I think definitely McGregor found out that he does not belong in the welterweight division. I mean, the way he was, wobbling and just, against Nate Diaz, who is generally known as a pretty pillow-fisted kind of fighter in MMA, and McGregor made him look like George Foreman out there. McGregor has a great chin as a featherweight. We don't know as a lightweight. He can definitely take the best shots of the guys in the featherweight division. But a guy who's 170 pounds, I'm not sure what Nate Diaz actually weighed on fight night, but he's definitely a bigger guy than McConnor, and McConnor can't take it. And I'd hate to imagine what would have happened to Conor McGregor had he agreed to fight, or had he fought Robbie Lawler. What if he beat Nate Diaz by decision last night? What if McGregor won and they set up the fight against him and Robbie Lawler? I think he's going to be put in a coma. I mean, if Nate Diaz can do that to Conor, what will a true bona fide welterweight do to McGregor? Someone who walks around 180, 185, or maybe even higher than that to make the 170 mark. It would have been really ugly, and it would have been potentially career-ending for McGregor to have fought Robbie Lawler. Now, the first round went pretty good for McGregor. There's no question that he's an athletic guy. He still had his speed, his precision. But I think this happens a lot with professional boxers who move up in weight, where they're able to bring with them their athleticism, but they don't have the chin to be in the higher weight division. One of the best examples is Roy Jones Jr. He actually won the heavyweight title at one time, but his chin, he's really a middleweight this whole time. He can't take the best punches of guys that are naturally bigger than him, and the same thing goes with Conor McGregor. And I feel bad for McGregor, but at the same time, I don't, because I think he just pushed way too far in the trash talk department against Nate Diaz. I mean, it's okay to talk about your opponent's skills or lack thereof. You can even talk about his face, if he's ugly or whatever. Make fun of him, cuss him out. But when he started talking about Diaz, teaching jiu-jitsu on a Sunday morning to kids, and he has to do that in order to to pay the bills. I think that's way past crossing the line, and you just don't insult somebody that way. And it has, I don't know what kind of psychological advantage that may have given Conor, or what advantage he thought he would have gained by insulting Nate Diaz that way, but that is way below the line in my opinion. And I think Conor McGregor got what he deserved. And I'm a big fan of McGregor. He's my favorite fighter in the UFC, and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, good for him that he lost the way he lost. Hopefully, he'll be humbled by that. And Nate Diaz, I mean, he's a guy that's easy to dislike because he has that attitude with him, but he's a genuine person. And again, congratulations to Nate Diaz. And I guess we'll have to see what happens to Conor McGregor. It all depends on how he does in the next fight. It'd be interesting to see if he goes back down to featherweight, which I don't think he can. I mean, not without turning himself into an AIDS victim look-alike. I mean, without draining himself completely. And I don't think that's going to be healthy for him. I think lightweight is Conor McGregor's future. If he can make another defense of the featherweight title, that'd be great. Help erase what happened last night against Diaz. But hopefully McGregor can pick himself back up and become a force. It's not like he's no longer a force in the UFC. I mean, the reality is he did fight 2 weight classes above his normal weight class. But the thing is, his aura of invincibility is gone. I don't know how big of a factor that plays into his fights. I don't know how intimidated his opponents are. Whether or not that's even a factor. If it is, then things might be a little more difficult moving forward for McGregor when his opponents are no longer afraid of him. And another thing I briefly want to mention before I check out here is that Conor McGregor's power. He was able to tag Nate Diaz a few times with some pretty good shots, and he wasn't hurt once. I don't think McGregor really landed his money punch, but definitely his power is not the same at the higher weight. I wouldn't say that he doesn't hit hard anymore, but he doesn't have that same concussive force that he did as a featherweight at the welterweight division. So again, thank you for watching The Good Fight TV. I am Fight for JC. Please be sure to leave your comments. Until next time.